from a completely general perspective, I'd say a generalist large learning model, something like ChatGPT or Claude, or if you want to go into the Google universe, Gemini, one of those is probably a good place to start because there's so much of ideating and having that LLM function as your second brain that's possible inside of a tool like that. So that's always a good place to start, especially if you're like, if you're beginner to intermediate usage of it. And then on top of that, and I will preach it from the mountaintops forever, it's called Perplexity AI, and it's really quickly replaced Google for me. And the sort of the clear difference is that if you run a search, and we will continue to search, right? The active searching for information, precedes technology. It goes beyond books. It just, it's going to be the way we look for improvement and for info. So instead of giving you a bunch of links in answer to your search, it gives you an answer and tells you where that answer came from, and then it provides you like with sources. So I think that's going to make a big difference in the way in which we search. I think from a fact checking and journalistic perspective, it's huge because it simplifies the research involved. So definitely Perplexity AI. Some of the ways in which we use it as a marketing firm is to research information, because we create content for people in a lot of industries that we're not the subject matter expert. We're using subject matter expert material to create stuff on their behalf. So like Perplexity is like quite huge. I think it simplifies the ability of like, if you have larger reports and stuff that need finer sourcing. So yeah, quite a bit of a fan there. People, if you go and look for Perplexity, you'll find headlines like Google killer. I don't think Google will be killed, but I do think that NVIDIA and Jeff Bezos have already invested in Perplexity. And you'll probably see some change in what search looks like in the next few years. And so, yeah, so that's the second tool. The third one is an integrator tool. And again, it precedes the advent of generative AI or OpenAI's sort of hold of the market. And it's called Zapier. What they've done is that they have integrated AI really well into their workflows. Zapier to begin with was very much an if this then that kind of tool, where you're like in a traditional funnel. If someone does this, if this is the intent signal, then this is the output kind of thing, right? And so I think that's gone up, the capabilities and the workflow possibilities and the degrees of automation have really gone up hugely. They are an old favorite and we already pay for it, and that's why we stick with them. But there's another tool called make.com that does the same thing. And often the people who come second do it better, in my opinion. So it's worth checking out. And so what happens when you have these three tools is that you get to move away from doing single actions with you and the machine, and instead you get to move stuff around, right? And you get to, like, to your point, we've talked often about delegation, briefing, and often automation. At least in the marketing space, people think of it as, oh, someone's going to write for you and then they're going to post for you and it's all going to happen without humans involved. That's not the level of automation that you're going to start with. You'd probably start with something smaller, like find me this information and send it to my inbox like once a day or something similar.